somebody recently asked, curious to hear your thoughts about putting your film through festivals versus just tossing it on YouTube. It's a wonderful question, one worthy of an entire video in and of itself, so here we are. Okay, so for context, I made a film last year in February and submitted it to the festival circuit in June. It had its first screening in August, a few more after that, before deciding to end its circuit course and upload it to YouTube in January, where it did pretty well. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check it out. It's called Meatball. So in my experience, I technically did both, which is kind of common after the film festival circuit is done. Typically, you would put your film on YouTube anyways, but this question is more so a matter of directness, so let's approach it like that. In my experience, would I do what I did again, or would I go straight to YouTube for the next film? Before I answer that, I have to break down some of the pros and cons of each avenue, so let's do that, and let's start with film festivals first. Networking. This is the most common pro people will tell you when it comes to submitting to film festivals, and that's because it's true, right? You're gonna meet a lot of like-minded filmmakers in the audience, and not only are you gonna meet them, but you're gonna get to see their work right away and vice versa. So it's a great way for them to get to know you without you having to send them the link to your film, you know, crossing your fingers that they actually watch it. A lot of fests will also have panels sprinkled in between their screenings. This is a great way for you to hear from and meet industry professionals who can give you some good insight on the finances of filmmaking, the creative, the technical, awards and recognition. The recognition that you can get from film festivals is very, very fulfilling. It's so exciting to submit your film to them and then wait that couple of weeks to see if you got accepted or not, especially because most festivals are getting thousands of submissions, so to be among the best of that crowd, if you get that acceptance, feels super good. It's reassurance, confidence building, especially if you're a little early on in your career too. And if you get nominated for or win an award, that's even better. That's incredible. It provides you with some major momentum. There's no better type of reassurance than doing well at a film festival. It's like, wow, I really am doing something right, clearly. So let me figure out what that is and then double down on it. Now, of course, we're talking about pros, but I think it's important to acknowledge the other side of that. It can be very discouraging if you don't receive any acceptances or nominations, awards, but it's also inevitable. You'll likely receive more no's than yeses, and that's totally fine. Expect it. If you just submitted to a fest and you're feeling a little discouraged because you're not having the most pleasant experience, try to reframe your thinking, right? So instead of saying, oh, I suck, I got accepted into 0 festivals, why am I even a filmmaker? You can think, hey, when I make it big one day, this is gonna be a great story. Delusions of grandeur? Maybe. I just like to think of it as believing in yourself. Laurels. In case you don't know, this is a laurel. You've definitely seen it before. Laurels are these little symbols that basically prove your acceptance to a festival. After you get accepted, you'll normally get an email from the festival saying, congratulations, we're so excited to have you a part of our festival. Also, your laurel is attached below. The laurel is kind of like a badge of honor. It really validifies your film. For instance, look at my short film poster with and without laurels. They have an impact. Side tip, don't go crazy with the laurels. Too many and you'll look like you submitted to every single festival you possibly could, whether they were reputable or not, and that's not what you want to be going for. I chose the 4 with the most impact to include on our thumbnail and our poster. Festivals that we won an award at, or festivals that are well respected. Or both. Ideally both. Opportunity to travel. This, of course, comes with a con, which we'll get into shortly. Spoiler alert. It's money. But in a perfect world, film festivals allow you the opportunity to travel, which is super fun, especially if you can get into some of the international festivals. It's also very interesting from an analytical perspective to see different demographics and audiences react to your film. It helps to give you a really solid indication of what works in a general sense, but also in a more focused sense as well. For instance, maybe a joke in New York City hits really hard, but that same joke for a Texas crowd, not so much. And this isn't necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but it certainly helps you become a more well-rounded filmmaker. Screening your film. Screening your film in front of a live audience is just such a special feeling. Getting to screen your film on a giant movie theater size screen and seeing the audience react to it live, it's such a special feeling, and it's one that I hope all filmmakers get to experience at least once, and I imagine all filmmakers would want to experience at least once. That's just my opinion, but I do think it's a really special experience. Expensive. Film festivals really should be factored into your budget beforehand, which when you're dealing with smaller numbers, you may want to put that money elsewhere. A submission fee for a decent festival will typically cost around $25, but I've seen it go all the way up to $100+, and that's just for one category. I signed up for Film Freeway's Gold membership level, which is $15 a month, I believe, and it gives you discounts on every single film that you submit. And if you submit all of your film within a concentrated area of time, it ends up being way more than $15 worth of savings, so I think it's worth it. You can also take the extra step to email these festivals and explain maybe your financial situation and ask for a discount code, but there's of course no guarantee that they'll give one to you or even answer you, so do with that as you wish. You'll also likely need to get a DCP package for your film. A DCP package essentially just takes your film and primes and preps it for the large screen. It does like a professional pass over it, let's just say. Many festivals will require this. Definitely the larger festivals will. Some festivals may refer you to a DCP service that they often work with, and that could help you get a little bit of a deal, but that's definitely an added expense to think about when going the festival route. Strategizing and planning. Maybe you realize this, maybe you don't, but people will plan the production of their film around festival dates. It's incredibly common. A lot of pre-production will start by thinking about your festival strategy. Where do we want to submit? What are the deadlines? How much will it cost? When is the festival? Where is the festival? Is this the right festival for the film? It takes a lot of careful thought and planning, and this is something that I didn't realize until after I had finished my film, because this was my first time in the film festival circuit. I still had a great run, but if I were to do it again, I would definitely strategize a little bit better, but we'll touch on that more later. Some filmmakers may even choose to hire a film festival strategist to help them figure out the best distribution strategy for the film. Either way, it can get very tedious and convoluted very fast. Patience. It takes a while for a film to run its full festival course. If we're talking from first submission to final public showing, it could be a year plus before you're able to post it online. And a lot of festivals will also not allow for your film to be screened if it's publicly available online, so you kind of just have to wait. If that sounds absolutely awful to you, that may be a good indication of where your priorities are. A lot of filmmakers have no problem letting a film run its full course because A, they break ground on a new film in the meanwhile, and B, it's doing its thing in the film festival circuit. It's being seen by filmmakers, film lovers, and industry people, so who cares if it takes a long time? Okay, now let's change our attention to YouTube. Potential virality equals major recognition. So just as in the festival world, the recognition you strive for may be acceptances, nominations, and awards, on the YouTube side of things, it's views, comments, and likes. For example, a company looking to hire a director for a commercial may be much more interested in your social currency than your film festival currency. And yes, that's not always totally true, but from my experience, I've found that the filmmakers who have a good social presence, following, sort of energy behind them online, tend to be the filmmakers that get more opportunities. And you're probably thinking, well, what if it flops? Then what? We'll get into that in just a moment, but overall, the ceiling for YouTube feels a little bit higher than the ceiling for film festivals, and the floor for YouTube feels a bit lower as well. Some of you may totally disagree with me on this, and that is so fine. I would love to hear your thoughts on the matter as well, so please, comment them down below. Free. It goes without saying, but the YouTube submission fee is $0. No submission fees, no travel costs, no DCPs, nothing. And when you're working with a small budget or no budget, that is a huge thing to consider. Community building. To me, YouTube feels like it builds a different community than film festivals build. People love to say they discovered something or someone when they were nothing. So if somebody stumbles across your film on YouTube and they really believe in it and believe in you, well then they're gonna be so much more intrigued to follow you and stay along for your journey. So that way one day when you make it, they could say, oh, I knew Alex when Meatball had 1,000 views. I was a viewer. I commented on that video. They may now want to see you succeed because they have a personal belief in you. It becomes satisfying for them to see you do well. And that's exactly the type of support aspiring filmmakers need. That's the person that's going to show up to your film, comment on all of your work, donate to your next film. Don't underestimate the power of the YouTube viewer. And there's also the added possibility of your viewers commenting and talking to other viewers and being able to build community within the comments. Barrier to entry. It's much easier to get people to view your film online than it is for them to buy a ticket and physically show up to the theater. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's very true. I see this film, I watch this film, and I like this film. And guess what? That all happened within a 15-minute time span. And it was free. It flops. So yes, in a perfect world, your film goes viral, you get tons of comments, likes, but in a realistic world, you don't. The chances of it not going viral are larger than the chances of it going viral, and you kind of have to have that expectation going into it. That's not to be negative, that's not to be down on yourself, but that's just to have all of the possible outcomes in your mind so you're prepared for whatever may happen. Flops happen. a lot. And if it does happen, well, then what? Well, then you make another film. Duh. And you keep going. And you'll probably have to do that multiple times before you have your big break. But that's part of the journey, just like when you get rejected from a film festival. It's going to happen more often than not, but that doesn't mean you stop. It's good to have all the possibilities of what can go right and what can go wrong, but it shouldn't dictate whether you actually do it or not. Okay, so we've gone through the pros and the cons of YouTube and film festivals, but I think there's one more thing worthy of considering before making a choice of what's best for you. Both options offer a good dose of instant and delayed gratification, so it's very important for you to decide what type of gratification means more to you. For film festivals, like I said, it could take months to hear whether or not you've been accepted, another few months for your film to be screened, and another few months after that for your film to finally be public on YouTube. That's a long time. You have to be patient, but the feeling you receive after waiting for all of those blocks is very good, but it also can provide some instant gratification too. For instance, when you're watching your film live with audience members right next to you, you can look to your right, you can look to your left, you can see if people are laughing when they're supposed to laugh, crying when they're supposed to cry. You can get real-time results and real-time temperature check on the audience and the perception of your film. For YouTube, you can post your film and it gets picked up in the algorithm pretty quickly. Whoop-de-doo. The likes and comments are coming in, that's great. Instant gratification. You just bypassed months of waiting. But also maybe it doesn't do well at first and you think, well, I didn't execute on this film as well as I could have. You chalk it up to a lesson, you start the next one. Then a few months later, it's getting picked up in the algorithm. I wonder why. I don't know why, but that feels really good. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of different ways it can go depending on what choice you make. So it's really good to have all of those possibilities in mind before you make a choice. There's so many more factors too to consider when it comes to distributing your film. I don't think I probably even scratched the surface. But from my own experience, these were some of the things that stood out to me the most. So with all that being said, what would I do for my next film? Film festival circuit or straight to YouTube? Honestly, I would do pretty much the exact same thing that I did for my last film, but I would adjust and make some tweaks. There were a few festivals I would have liked to submit to, but I didn't properly plan, and so I missed the deadline for them. And that sucked because some of those festivals were really competitive and maybe I wouldn't have gotten accepted at all, but if I did, I mean, that could have been a huge opportunity for me. But it's all good. I mean, you could do the what ifs all day long. You really just got to think about what your goals are and what path best serves them. Like I said, I'm super curious to hear your thoughts on the matter as well. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Do you disagree with me? Film festivals or YouTube? Let me know, comment down below. Hopefully we can all learn from each other, and I'll see you in the next one.